Okay, so this is my new Mossery sketchbook. I did not get it with my name on it. It does have a little fox. It's just really cute. It has a, what do you call that, bookmark type thing. It's got some calendars along with different recommendations for how you can use the planner, which is really nice. It's a little folder. And the reason I got this planner is because it is a blank planner, meaning the monthlies and the weeklies, or rather dailies and whatnot, are all blank, so you can use it as you need it. And if you skip a week or a month even, it doesn't matter. Which is good because you use less paper. And it is also sustainably created. So, yeah. So I'm going to start filling this out. And then, yeah, I'm really excited. This is kind of something I've been looking forward to, and now that we're finally, you know, at April, I'm going to get this ready. So we're going to switch over to a, like, not speed paint, but like a time lapse of this. I'm going to listen to The Boy on the Bridge by M.R. Carey, which I am renting from Overdrive from the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. Learn about mailing day-old poultry. Oh, they mean like the actual living animals. I thought they meant like chicken. A chicken that you killed a day ago.
Because I like to have all my reds in one place and all my yellows and all the blues and so on. So I did actually rearrange the colors in the box. In my opinion, it is a little easier to find the right color if they are actually collected in one place. I did actually try.
So what you've been watching me work on up until this point is actually a coloring sheet that I did. I submitted it to be part of a self-care coloring sheet by a bunch of different artists from around the world. And it promotes futures without violence. And while the PDF is free, it's asked that you make a donation to that charity if you can. And you can see Avast is asking me when I want to be reminded about my software update. So I was testing out the brushes on here. I was using my drawing pad that I got at the beginning of this year. And this was the first time I'd really done any sort of art where I drew it traditionally and then traced over it digitally. So I was really excited about that. But before we get into that, I'm going to tell you a little more about the coloring book itself. The theme, like I said, was self-care. This was being run by Fab Feminist Art. The woman who runs that is Callie Garp. And she was, put out a call on Instagram asking for self-care art. So I decided that I wanted to do a coloring sheet based on the window that you could look out in the kitchen of my first apartment, just because I felt like it was the most peaceful place in our apartment, and I wanted to draw lots of plants because, if you know, last month I spent a lot of time drawing succulents, and like I said, it didn't really feel like appropriate for what I was doing then, but I felt like I could include it now. So I really struggled here in the beginning. You can see, I don't know why I thought a long straight line would be a good first line for this program, but I struggled, I struggled, I struggled, and finally had success. So you can see me here tracing over the sketch that I scanned, and it really just was a completely different experience from what I've done before. It was really hard, but at the same time it was really rewarding to see this sketch that I'd done physically in my sketchbook and then scanned, just to see it be transformed from one medium to another. It's kind of the same thing as when you do a sketch and then maybe you ink it and then watercolor it. It changes it. and it's a really gratifying process to go through, but it was definitely very challenging. Okay, so we're going to do our best to open this box of art supply goodies while the kitty cat sits here and looks out the window. It's funny, he's never interested in looking out the window until I take it upon myself to put the blind down so I can film something. So I can film with the blind open, but it makes it more obvious the like, sir, you have tons of space to look out the window. You don't need to pull on the blinds. Thank you. He takes it upon himself then to rush to the window and look out. I think that's... okay, there we go. There we go. I don't know why that thing's been like that lately, but... Alright, so this is from Artists and Craftsmen. They are an employee-owned, I believe, art supply company that has branches around the U.S., but there's a Pittsburgh branch that that's why I order from them in particular. look at this, look at this. I am so excited. I ordered some Posca pens because I really, really, really want to try Posca pens out. I got 4 colors that I thought I would like because I was considering the regular set. Can I help you, sir? Would you like the paper? I can give you the paper. So I ordered 4 colors that I thought I would like just because of not sure what colors to get, and I didn't want to order a whole starter set because there was a lot of colors in there and it was expensive. So these are the 0.9, 1.3 nibs. So I guess they're the fine point, I think, if I remember correctly. And then this is the white one, which I got, which is a 0.7 millimeter. This is the extra fine. I got this to replace my Jelly Roll pen because I couldn't find. All right. Look, you want it? Go get it. Good boy. Okay, so I got this to replace my Uniball the Jelly Roll Sakura pen because that had dried out. It wasn't empty, but it had dried out, and I'm not sure why because it wasn't open, but it just had stopped working. So I thought I'd try this because I was never really a fan of that particular gel pen because it felt like it kind of left a track in the middle that wasn't actually white. I also got this Pentel Arts Hybrid Technica pen, 0.3 millimeters, because I needed to get, you might have seen already, the one nib of my Copic fine liners is kind of messed up, and I am very bad about pushing heavily, and I try not to, but it still happens. So I thought trying a rollerball pen for fine liner might work, and this is supposed to be waterproof, so I'm excited to try these out. And then I got another kneaded eraser. I wish I could have gotten one that comes in a little case because that would have been nice, but I just needed a new one. So yeah, I'm going to open these up and then maybe try swatching them on some toned paper. Okay, so we have all the supplies opened except for the eraser. And we have this sketchbook I recovered. I got it at a thrift store, essentially an art supply thrift store, and I just did not really like the way, the way it looked. So I recovered it, and that actually made its way into a vlog, but for whatever reason I forgot to put the footage in. Alright, so I like that pen a lot. Hear the ball moving around in there. Get it shook up. This is not the first time I've used a paint pen, but it's the first time I've used this type of paint pen. I used a gold Sharpie paint pen when I was in high school, I think. It was a Sharpie paint pen, I forget. It was some sort of gold paint pen, metallic, but yeah, so we have the white. And you can see the difference in the thickness. Pump it. Maybe. It's taken a lot longer than the white did to come, but it's also a thicker nibs. I think that might be part of the issue. I don't even really feel like there's any paint in it, but I guess that's just because the paint's thin. Hi, baby. What's up? Oh, you're gonna fall. Alright, well, we'll come back to this one. Maybe this one's a dud. That'd be a real shame. Can I help you, sir? Ow, I made my elbow. Oh, yeah, this one went a lot quicker. You can see it tearing up the paper there. Get a straggly bit off. Maybe? No? Ravioli's not a fan, but honestly, that's probably good. Okay, let's try this one again since that one works so well. I can see some green coming out. It just took a little bit. Good to know I didn't get it done. That made me really sad. So the good news is the green and purple seem to really stand out from each other. I was kind of worried that all of the colors I got were kind of mid-tones, bordering on dark, and they just wouldn't show up against each other like that, you know? The blue is the lightest other than the white. So I got, if I remember correctly, sky blue, which is this one. And then I got slate gray, emerald green, and I think it was lilac was the name of it. Yeah, I see it coming. Push, 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 push. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to do something that looks kind of like a glazing chart for watercolor. But obviously this isn't opaque, so it's going to be more so of a put colors on top of each other and see what stands out chart. I think I can already tell using this, but I still want to try it. Definitely with this paper. This paper's kind of flimsy though, so, you know, ooh, this one's real juicy. You don't want to go over the same spot twice. Alright, is that dry? Yeah. Alright, we're going to start here. Make our way down. See what shows up against what. And I'm going to try drawing across these and see how that looks. Okay, that's really cool. Alright, well I think what I'll do is I'll sketch something maybe that I can, well that really tore that up, but I'll sketch something that on the next page or on this page that we can look at, but I'll do that in a time lapse. So here I am working on the climate change comic that I wanted to release on Earth Day, which I did end up doing. I'm using a program called Photo Affinity. I mentioned before that I had stopped using Photoshop, so I decided I was going to find a program that was comparable to Photoshop that didn't require me to use a model of subscriptions. Like I didn't want to have to buy a program then pay for it every month, so to speak. So I found a program I liked. The serif company, I think is the name of the company, like, you know, like the type of font, the font face serif.
they have a bunch of different programs that are very similar to the Adobe suite. So they have something like Illustrator and something like Publisher, I think, or InDesign maybe. But anyways, they were on sale, so I purchased them. So I'm just going in and I am erasing right here. I'm erasing where the two scans met up. It was bigger than my scan bed, so I had to scan it twice. And I just went in with like a healing brush tool, I believe is what it's called. And, just got rid of things, and I used an eraser here and there, and just overall cleaned it up and got rid of where the ink overflowed, or maybe I didn't quite erase all of the pencil, or there was just a smudge, that sort of thing. And then I added text to it, which you see here. And it was actually the first time I used Affinity Photo at all, and my first time making this sort of comic for Instagram that was both traditional and digital. And it could have been really frustrating, but thankfully I made it so that I just took it easy. I Googled anything I didn't know. I didn't spend a lot of time trying to figure it out on my own, which is the way I would normally do it and is something that I would advocate. I feel like you learn things better that way, but since there was so much new that I was learning at once, I took it easy and just looked up tutorials and figured it out from there, which is a way to do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not the way I would normally do it. So, yeah, I am really proud of this comic, but it felt kind of weird to be making while there were other things, or at least a more prominent social problem going on right now. It felt kind of weird to be like, oh yeah, I know coronavirus is going on, but here's my comic about climate change. This is important. But it is important. As the way our world works, more than one thing can be a problem at once. So yeah, I felt like it was kind of important for me to try and create this, at least some nuance about climate change, because I feel like a lot of debate and breakdown of progress is caused by the fact that people want one specific solution to solve everything, which is understandable. If there was one thing you could do to fix a problem, it'd make it that much easier to fix. But that's not really how it works, unfortunately. So I wanted to, try and talk about that a little bit, not a lot. This is a small comic. So yeah, that was what I worked on, and I just want to say real quick, you're going to see a spelling mistake in here. I'll say of instead of or, and I do go back and fix that. So before this clip ends, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, I actually separated all these panels out then too and posted them each individually in like a gallery on Instagram, which I felt like was a really great way to share it and make it easier to read. So yeah, this was a really great learning experience for me, and one that I actually really enjoyed as well.
Okay, so what I have here is chapter 20. This is the second half of chapter 19 originally, but I split chapter 19 in half, and it's only 5 pages long, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like it's too short and I want to add a lot more detail. The main characters are in a lab setting, and I feel like I didn't really describe it at all. And I've edited this a little bit already, but I was looking at it on the computer and I felt like I needed to be able to go through and cross things out and write things in the margins. So I printed it out, and this is from Scrivener, and I don't know if you can tell, but it prints things really, really close to the margins. So yeah, I'm probably gonna put on some music and get to work. Let's do Discover Weekly.
Watch this short video to get 30 minutes of uninterrupted listening.
Alright, so I've got my Diplomat Magnum pen and a pencil and a really weird Skittles ad playing in the background, but whatever. So we'll see. I really want to use this, but if I'm not in the mood or not liking the way it looks, I can switch over to a pencil or even a different pen. But I just kind of want to write with my pen. Although I will say lately this hand has been hurting, like right here, like why is there ink on my hand? The tendons in here. So we'll see how long I can handwrite. Yeah, he's in there?
There's a baby.
Oh, a baby. Look at you.
Okay, so we're back to the coloring sheets. This was, I believe, the day that the coloring book was released, either the day after, and I decided the best way to promote it was I was going to color some of my fellow artists' coloring sheets, and I thought that'd be a great way to just, you know, get to try them out. And I probably should have colored mine, but I had already colored mine once in like testing to see if there were any lines missing before I went back in and fixed it, and I didn't want to color it again. The two coloring sheets you'll see here, I do not remember who they belonged to, or who created them rather, so I will link to that below, or like leave something in the comments, the description, that will tell you. I am using Ohuhu markers. I don't think I used any Copic markers. I think it was all Ohuhu markers. And those are alcohol markers, and I enjoy them. These are older ones. I've been told before that they don't look like the current Ohuhu markers, so even though they do maybe look a little bit odd if you have a newer set, these are Ohuhu markers. They're from like 2017, I think. Fall or winter 2017, maybe 2018, I forget. But it's been 2 or 3 years since I got them. But I really enjoyed working on this coloring sheet. It is some like abstract type faces, and I picked 5 different shades of blue, just kind of at random, because the colors on the caps don't really look like the colors that come out of the marker. And I just kind of picked at random which sections would be colored which colors, and honestly I had a lot of fun, and I really liked how it turned out in the end, which you'll see in a little bit. I wish, though, 2 of the markers I chose, and I didn't realize it until I had already used both of them at least once, were actually really similar to each other, but not so similar that you wouldn't notice a difference. So I couldn't just be like, oh, they're the same marker, I'm going to pick a different one. So I kind of had to be careful to make sure those 2 didn't get next to each other, but other than that, it was a really fun, relaxing experience, which is, you know, pretty much exactly what you want. And this was the other one I decided to color. It says on it, tomorrow is a new day. And I don't know, it felt really poignant to me, something that really resounded with me. The other one was really like, I was very aesthetically curious about like how I would color it, and then this one just kind of spoke to me, so to speak. That's why I picked these 2. And there were so many good ones in the sheet, and there are, you should really check it out. I had a hard time deciding which ones to color, but I knew I didn't have time to color more than 2 of them. So I had like a list of like, honestly, all of them that I wanted, and I just kind of picked 2 out of that. I had a lot of fun with it. I guess I'll talk a little bit more about mine while I finish coloring this one, even though it's not up on the screen. I decided to do mine in a way with lots of lines so that it would take a while to color, so you could just kind of get in the zone with it. Because to me, coloring sheets are very meditative, however you say that. I'm not sure. I'm kind of tired. Yeah, I wanted it to be like that, and I also wanted it to not be like with perfectly straight lines, you know, or really, really detailed, perfect areas, just because I know a lot of people, myself included, when they see adult coloring books, don't want to color it because they're worried that it will be impossible to do it justice. They're just going to mess it up. So I decided to use, you know, some wobbly, imperfect lines, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I really enjoyed getting to do this little collaboration. So you can see here my final 2 that I colored. I had a great time, and yeah, let's get on with the vlog. So as you can see here, I'm kind of putting all of the lids from the Himi gouache off to the side so I can use them for swatching. I had wanted to get gouache in general for quite a while, and especially I felt like this gouache set would be a good one just because it would give me lots of colors to experiment with for a cheaper price, which I know is why a lot of people like this set. Also, I felt like it would be easy to get access to the colors, which is another reason a lot of people like this set. So after watching lots of average artist videos and a few Arlene Bean videos, I decided that I definitely wanted to get this. So you can see here I'm swatching all the colors out. I am doing like a thick color and then adding a little bit of water just to spread it out, which is pretty much how you do a watercolor swatch. And I know you can do gouache swatches this way, but it's not really exactly how gouache would be used. But I just wanted to see like the full range of the color that was there, because if the pigment was just going to be very intense in one little spot, it might be kind of hard for me to see what exactly I was getting color-wise. And I really had a lot of fun with this, and it was a good way to use up some of the paint on the lids, because it's really kind of a waste because you can't get that paint back in the little tubs. And I did try, and it didn't work. So yeah, that's me swatching these colors. And then I decided that to test the two whites, there's I think it's a titanium white and a permanent white maybe. I was going to lay down a swatch of this dark like indigo blue, which was I think my favorite color out of the whole set. I was going to lay down the two whites on top so you could see, and you could see that first color kind of smudged. Well, I didn't really let it dry long enough. I think that's more of a problem than the white itself. And then I decided to mix the white with some of the colors because that's something you do with gouache that you don't do with watercolor, which you all probably know is my primary medium. Not that you could tell that from this month. I don't think I really recorded much watercolor at all. So yeah, that was what I experimented with. Did I already say I tried to put the paint back in the tubs? Didn't work. Wouldn't recommend it. It just made a mess. So yeah, that was my swatching experience, and I did end up doing a little painting with this, which you'll see towards the end of the vlog, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm really, really glad I got these paints. I was kind of worried about it, just because it didn't really feel like something I needed to do, but I kind of wanted to treat myself for finishing my semester, and I'm glad I did.
That's good. So I thought real quick to round off the end of this monthly podcast, I feel like I'm going to read you a book or something. We are going to do a little catch up just on all the things that I didn't talk about this month that I really wanted to talk about. So first things first, and I've been dying to tell you all this for like 2 weeks now, and it's not really related to anything, but I just had to tell you. So last month, if you watched to the end of the vlog, you saw my kitten Ravioli absolutely ruin my zine that I was printing because he jumped up and attacked the paper, you know, like just because it was printing out and making noises and he was interested. And there have been issues with it before, but never anything that bad. But I was just like, okay, we can't have this every time either I or my girlfriend print something because this is not proper. It's not, you know, it's gonna, you know, be really frustrating. So what I did was every time he didn't attack the printer while it was printing, he got a treat, and it only took about 2 times, and now I have my cat Pavlov conditioned. Every time he hears the printer, he goes and sits by it and waits for his treat, and it works perfectly, and I love it. And he gets really mad if you don't give him a treat when it prints. So, though like one time I forgot, he was really pouty. But, so yeah, I haven't had any issues with printing anything out this month. So, there are a couple different things that you would have seen, like the coloring book sheets and stuff. And the chapter that I edited, those were all obviously printed out on our printer here at home, and it's worked a treat. Pun not intended, but lovely. What else? I have read a few books. What did I read? I read, other than the ones I showed you, I read Snowcat Prince by Dina Norland. I read that. I read How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin, and that was just amazing. It was so good. I've done a lot of mask sewing. I've done a lot of editing of my book. That gouache that I tried out turned out, the first little painting I did turned out really well. I'm gonna grab that real quick. Okay, I'm back. So it's just this painting here on this, it's a Canson XL mixed media sketchbook that I've actually had since I started watercoloring, but you can see I did this weird pizza thing. It was kind of a stuffed crust play on the term stuffed crust, like it's stuffed with an eyeball and it's like crying cheese, I guess. Because I love stuffed crust pizza. That's like one of my like guilty pleasures, because you know it's never like that good pizza. If it's stuffed crust, it's usually pretty cheap. But this sketchbook is actually the one that I first learned to do watercolor in. Like it was the first thing I tried. Like I'd take one page in a half an hour and just do random stuff. Like you can see this one says 4/6/17. This one says 4/7/17. 4/8/17. 4/9/17. Let's see, what else have I got in here that I can show you? 4/12/17. And I did like a color mixing chart there, so like that's what this is. And then there's the paintings that I did in, some of the paintings I did in Peru are in here. So 4/7/12/17, I was just learning to watercolor still. And that's really cool. Like you can see a big difference. That's quail eggs, huevos de codorniz. And this was the Skillshare I did to try out paints. This is a teacup I did for the class. Painting teacups in gouache, exploring shape, color, and pattern by Alana Carter. I'm not sure. And I think it turned out really nice. And I ended up using the 3 colors that like struck my eye the most when I first was opening them. That was how I chose the color palette. I think it turned out pretty nice. I finished, or those prints came in the mail that for the space painting I showed you, and I don't think you really got to hear the backstory about why I did that. I filmed some footage for it, but I didn't like how it turned out, so I didn't include it. I was part of a virtual book launch for one of my friends, Ryan Fletcher. She was releasing her book, Deus Ex Mechanic, and she was supposed to have like an in-person type book launch in London where she lives, but I think she lives in London, somewhere near London, if not in London. And of course, because of the coronavirus, she couldn't do that, so she's in a writing Discord with me and a couple other people, so we all got, not all of us, but some of us decided that we wanted to get together and help her launch it. When she said, hey, I'm having this virtual book launch, does anybody want to be in? A bunch of us were like, yeah, that sounds like fun, and it was a lot of fun. So what I did was I painted that piece. It was 7 by 7 inches, and I had her do a giveaway for it, or said, you can give this away as something fun on your book launch, because there's just a lot of really crappy stuff going on, and obviously like the most important thing is the health of people and stuff like that, but like there's so many little other crappy things going on that like I don't know about you all, but I feel like I can't complain about it because there's so much other like more important things going on, and they are more important, but you know what I mean. So I wanted to make it a little extra special for someone who was kind of having this crappy thing go on because of even bigger, crappier things. So I did that, and I know that some people probably are like, well, why did you do that? You're promoting the idea of you can get art for free, but really, I don't feel like I am, because this person is someone that I've been friends with for a couple years. She has given me lots of good advice regarding my book. We know each other online. And I knew that she would be properly appreciative of it, as would the person who received it. So that's why I felt like it was okay, but I just want to say you don't ever have to feel obligated to give free art to anyone or any group. Value your art and do what you need to do to, make sure that you're being valued the way you should be. But I had prints made, 6 by 6 inch prints from Cat Print. They're on recycled paper. I'd get them out and show you, but it's not a big deal. You saw the original painting. So those are going to be going up hopefully for sale today. I made a mistake, and the rigid mailers I ordered from Cat Print earlier, was it last month? I forget. The first size I ordered are 6 inches, which is why I decided to make the print itself 6 inches, but that's the outside measurement, not the inside measurement. So it's like 1/8 of an inch too small. So I ordered the next size up, which is like 9 by 11 or something, like way bigger. But I had to order some of those, which was a mistake on my part. Yeah, so those are coming in the mail supposedly today, I think. No, tomorrow, because today's not May 1st. Today's the last day of April. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. What I didn't mention to you all in the voiceovers or in the vlog itself. I'm not sure how vlogs are going to continue as the quarantine goes on, just because, you know, I don't have as much time to myself here, and, you know, my girlfriend's very supportive of me, you know, vlogging and stuff, but I don't, you know, I don't feel as inclined to pick up the camera and talk to it directly when I'm not alone, I guess, because I'd rather talk to her or just, you know, do my stuff. So there's probably gonna be a lot more voiceovers in the next vlog, but I like those because it gives me a chance to kind of like think through what I want to say, and I can include more of what I want to say, and can re-record it if it's just hopelessly rambling like this probably is. So yeah, I think that's it for this month's vlog. I hope you all enjoyed. And let me know what you think of this, like, end of the vlog roundup type thing, or like conclusion. If you like it, I can keep doing it next month. But yeah, that's everything, and I'm gonna go so I can get some stuff done. I'll see you guys next month. Bye!